Alright, the first tip I'll give you for remembering to use your utility in games is Spike Rush. Just play a whole bunch of Spike Rush. In Spike Rush, you have util every round, so like at the beginning of each round, you get your full util. You don't have to spend any money. There's not rounds you go where you don't have full util to use. And when you're playing Spike Rush, you just need to be sure that you're focused on what you're trying to do in that Spike Rush. Don't treat it as a fun way to like play some games. You need to be treating Spike Rush as like a training drill. Be focused on using your util and finding different ways that are creative and that you've never done before to use your util. Put yourself out of your comfort zone. And if this wasn't already implied, you should be maining one agent. Maybe two if you really like two agents, but I would seriously recommend sticking to one agent. Having multiple agents that you play, even if it's like one agent per map, can actually slow down your improvement because you're trying to remember how to use every util for each map. You're mixing up your brain by having it remembered 3 or 4 different sets of util depending on how many agents you're playing, which just puts more load on your brain when you can be focusing on things that change from match to match, unlike util. But yeah, just be focused on what you're trying to do that is using util in every way you can. My second tip for you guys is to develop some kind of pre-round routine. Back when I played tennis, my coach would have us create a pre-round routine that we'd have to do, not pre-round, pre-point routine, because it was tennis, which you had to do between every single point. It could be something like bouncing the ball on the ground 3 times, or telling yourself some words in your head, or spinning your racket, or whatever it might be. In Valorant, you should have this exact same thing. For me, I do this thing where I like wiggle my mouse back and forth really fast in order to get myself in the mood of being like sweaty and trying really hard. And yours doesn't have to be that or anything specific. Just make something that you do at the beginning of each round in order to get your mind in the habit of using your util and putting yourself in the right mindset in order to win that round. My third tip for you guys is to slow yourselves down. If you're trying to remember to use your util in situations, you can't be going super fast and expecting to remember your util in the moment. You need to slow down and come up with a plan in the pre-round in order to use your util during the round. This can be easier on attack than defense, although it's still possible on defense, you just have to do it a little bit of a different way. Let me show you a quick example of this on a custom game. We'll go to Icebox because Icebox is fun. Alright, so we're here on Icebox. First I'll show you attack because attack is often easier than defense. For example, maybe I'm running up here and then I come over here, pop my ult, throw my wall like that or something, and then jump on here. And then jump over here and onto this box and then up here, and then I'm like stunning out here and over there and then I'm coming out here. There's so many different ways to do it. Just decide on a way and how you're going to use each individual piece of your util in the pre-round. So when you're sitting here, you should be thinking, okay, I'm going to throw one stun here, one stun backside to stun Jen, and then I'm going to put my wall like this. Maybe if I was like to route over here or something and come up on these pipes. And you can coordinate that with your team too. Maybe what you're going to do is have your Viper throw a molly here after you stun it so that somebody dies to that molly. And maybe you're going to have a jet down here ready to swing the person who you just stunned in maze. Just be sure to have a plan, which really helps. And then on defense, this can get slightly more complicated because they might not push your site, but I'll give you an example of it here. Maybe on defense, you've got a teammate like a Jet or something who goes up there early, and then as soon as you see somebody, you throw a stun and peek and unpeek, and then your Jet can peek up there and kill them. Or you can get super aggressive kind of junk, and then maybe you're like starting the round over here, and then you just make this jump because it's easy, and then peek over here, throw a stun down there, drop down to jail over here and fight these guys up belt. Or you could get like 3 people, throw a wall or something, and then come out here and like slide out and then stun or whatever. Like, come up with some kind of plan. You can kind of come up with a default plan for each site on each map, which might take some time, but it's a really good idea. For if you end up retaking, right? Maybe my default retake for Icebox B site is to come through kitchen and then down here and then throw my wall behind yellow and then get somebody on the tap here and then push back here with my run, of course, if I had actual charge. Push around yellow and pick these guys off while they're trying to kill our diffuser over here. And then, of course, you can incorporate your other utility in if you didn't use that yet. So maybe you're throwing the wall here, throwing a stun over there, and then running back here and sliding through this. Of course, you wouldn't stun yourself, ideally, but something like that. Come up with a default retake for each different thing. These are the type of videos that I'm going to start making more as I find out where I'm lacking in my Valorant skill and what I need to improve on. What I'm doing here is telling you what I'm going to be doing in order to remember to use util, because I keep finding myself in situations where like I'll know somebody's here and then I'll be scared about it and like walk up and like try to do that when I literally have a stun because I'm playing Neon and I can just peek and they're dead. Of course that's an extreme example, But I found myself in so many situations like that where I finished the round and I'm like, I had a stun. Why didn't I use it? Your util is super important, and whether or not you use it can actually make the difference between whether or not you're winning a game. I just stunned myself. That's not clutch. And if you want to win your game, subscribe, because it's not really going to help you win your games, but it'll make me happy. And you also get to see the other things I'm doing to help myself improve at Valorant and get more tips from me about stuff like this. Also, it's free, so why wouldn't you? You literally have to click a singular button.